Hey, it's Donny A. Today we're going to talk about how you can find any triad by using this simple trick. And the number one thing you need to understand about triads is that they're just smaller pieces of our larger cage shapes. So all of our triads are built off of those open C shapes, the open A shape, G shape, E shape, and D shape. And based on what string your root note is on, you can figure out immediately, if you just remember this little trick, what shape you need to be looking for your triad. So grab your guitar and let's dive in. The trick to find your triads is that if you know where the root note is, you know what triad shape to use. So if your root note's on the G string, then your triad's always going to be based off of the A cage shape. So this would be your A cage shape. This D major bar chord is based off of your A cage shape. So your triad's always based off of that. So if your root's on the G string, it's based off an A. So you have a D triad right there, which is on your 7th fret. And then if you're looking for your 2, you need to be able to count through your scale to your scale degrees. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you're back at your 1 on that 8. So you need to be able to do that. So once you're at your 1, your 2 is also on your G string. And the other thing you need to know is that your major chords in a key are your 1, 4, 5. Your minor chords are 2, 3, 6. So since your 2 would be minor, you need to look for a minor shape, which it's still based off of an A shape in the cage. It's just your A minor shape. So your E minor would be your 2. That would be your E minor bar chord. So you have a triad right there. And you also have a triad with your root on the G string on the 9th fret. You also have this triad here. And then if we're going to go to our 3 is a whole step up from our 2. So you have that same shape. That's an F sharp minor chord. So you have that same shape here. And you also have this shape here. So now you know where your 1, 2, and your 3 are. Your 1, 2, 3. If you're counting through your scale and you're in this shape, you have 1, 2, 3. You have a 3 here as well. Anything that has a root on your B string is out of your D major cage shape. So in this instance, for a 3, you'd have a D minor. So you can play your 3 in 2 different places here. You can play your 3 down here in the 5th position of the pentatonic scale, or you can play it up in the 2nd position of your pentatonic scale, the 2nd form. And then to get to your 4, that's a half step away from your 3. That's also based on a D shape, so it's a D major shape. So one other thing with this D shape, you can also use the D shape as part of your C shape, your C cage shape. It's the top of it. So if you're playing a C major chord, you have open on the high E, 1 on the B, and then open on the G, which is essentially a D shape. If you move that up and you actually do the D, you have that right there. So you can also do part of this C shape on your 4 chord, which would be this shape right here, which is essentially part of that larger C shape. And then your 5's a whole step away from that. It also has a root on the B string. So you have your D shape and you have part of your C shape triads. So then your 6 is a whole step away from that. Your 6 is minor, so you would do the minor shape. Additionally to that minor shape, there's a extension of that. Your C shape minor would be right here. And then also, if we go back into our form 1 of that pentatonic, you have a 6 also on your high E string. And if you have a 6 on your high E string, then you'd be based off the E-shaped cage shape. And this is a minor chord, so you're based off of that E minor shape. You can take a triad here. You have 1, just barring the 7th fret on the B or G, B, and high E. And then you can also add your ring finger onto the 9th fret there on the D string, and that would add another note, add another 1 to this triad. So you could just play the D, G, and B string. And then your 7th chord is diminished, so we're not really going to worry about that, but that would stack 2 minor thirds on top of each other. Not something you're going to typically be playing. So we just went through, you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you can find all your triads by just remembering that if your root is on the D string, you have an E shape. It's based off your E shape, which would be your E major or minor shape depending on what the chord is. If your root is on your D string. If your root is on your G string, then it's based off of an A shape. If your root is on your B string, it's based off of a D shape. Or it could be based off of a C shape. So you have 2 options there. And then if your root is on your high E string, then you're also based off of an E shape. Whether it's minor or major. If you're going to do major, you want to do D major down here. And then it all just changes. It's all just based off your root. So if you know your root is right there on your 12th fret of your D string, you can do this. You can work this out with this new scale shape coming off of here as well. So you'd have 1, 4, 5. So I hope this helps. Just a super easy thing to remember. Write it down, and you'll be able to find any triad that you're looking for. Thanks, guys. Talk soon.